Hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Smith.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. Welcome, everybody, to Sound Sessions number 5.
Number 5. We're getting through these.
We are. We're getting through it. And we have a lot of wonderful people here already in the chat.
Hi, all. How are you doing?
We've got Sparky971, we've got Lorecat Danforth, we've got Keith H. Polevault, Edward Richard, some Mr. Smith fella.
Who's that weirdo?
I don't know. Don't trust that guy. He sounds like a
No.
drummer.
Yeah, probably. Ugh.
He didn't know who Mr. Rogers was.
Is this a big thing in America, Mr. Rogers?
Oh, yeah.
What? Is it?
I think it
Was
is. I think it was a huge thing. But we'll there's a movie. I haven't watched the movie. We should watch the movie. Justine Casper, great to see you. Hope
Hey, Justine.
well. So today we have what we were going to talk about was what's your basic options for an audio video setup for doing like streaming like this or recording. Like what's the most basic thing that you need in order to get started? And so
The essential items.
the essentialist items.
Yeah. Mr. Rogers is kind of big. He was in big
Hold on, I'm
voice.
going to put that on the screen. Yay. That was our...
I love
it.
I've just realised when you don't shave, I've not shaved for a couple of days. When you don't shave, your beard kind of sticks into this mask and makes it stick like Velcro.
The more you know. You said like Velcro. I thought you said like Falcro. And I'm like, yeah, he has a big beard.
Falcro's not in here, is he?
No. Hey, Michelle, great to see you. Michelle's
Hi, Michelle.
through. So before we get started, did you want to start with a song?
Oh, yeah, I think we should, shouldn't we? So
I didn't really like get anything ready, but we can do it real quick.
Neither did I. I can do something if I really want, yeah? What, do you want to go first, though?
I can. Is there anything you want to hear before I like randomly look for a song?
Something of yours. In fact, the new one.
Oh, yeah?
Please.
That's sweet of you.
And a couple of people come into the chat as well. Zach, good to see you. Anon Mouse, how are you doing? Nice to see everybody, yeah?
How do I not have this one?
Did you not tell me, though,
I just played it.
that you had 800 songs or something?
Well, not mine. Like, I have a lot of songs in my big songbook.
Yeah.
My songbook is like, I have like maybe 80.
I've never seen anything like it.
This songbook, though,
Oh, what?
is the big one. This is
Oh,
the one I
come on.
play from during Song Club.
Are you for real?
That's why
Dude,
it's
have
making all this paper noise that you hate. And you're like, stop making the paper noise.
Have you seen the size of that songbook, Hugh? What is going on here?
And with, there it is. It was under the songbook.
Okay.
That makes sense. I'm glad we did that because I then had to move the songbook.
Well, I'm glad I didn't ask for anything awkward then.
Oh, no. This is like what I should have had ready. So this is my new song. I wrote it this is my attempt for Songtember song. Well, I wrote it in Songtember and then I'm like, I'll release it and I'll do a cool ass recording. So I recorded it and I like recorded parts and I made a bass line and I did the drums, the MIDI drums with the cajon, which is Mr. Smith's favorite MIDI cajones. And
I love them. Oh, they're so good.
And I even I used a plug-in guitar, not even this one. Like I actually plugged the guitar in and did it, and then I sent it to Mr. Smith, and he's like, "Okay."
So
I think you're gonna redo it and make it sparkle.
I think I said I can hear a different arrangement. I think,
yeah, you said it so nice.
Thanks.
And so. Listen for a different arrangement of this than what I'm about to play.
I'm going to put you full screen as well. Is that a bad thing?
Don't do that. Yeah.
Don't.
We did not practice that.
I'm
have to move this thing over here.
Look, my hands are in the air.
Okay.
All right.
You just have to act. Well, you can turn your video off if you would like to, but you don't. Yeah.
I don't
But
want to
that's as good
distract
as we
in the
do.
background. Yeah, I
Well,
don't
you
want to
could do
distract
it
in the
like a
background.
dance or something. I think Pole Vault would enjoy that.
All right, I'll make something up in the first verse.
Okay. And also I want to say hello to Zach Thong is here. Hello, hello. Okay, so this song is called Silence. I don't know how to say how I feel. I could draw you a picture, a fish stuck in the mud, held by the current, at a fork in the river, a struggle and wriggle and fight to survive. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Come out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants. I'm too scared to scream, too frightened to cry out, too filled with heartbreak, depression and self-doubt. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. I don't breathe a word till a slip of the tongue releases the floodgates. I try to hold back, keep it under my hat. I never learned from my mistakes. It starts as a whisper and turns to a roar, like the calm of the ocean when it rips up the shore. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Come out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants. I'm too scared to scream, too frightened to cry out, too filled with heartbreak, depression and self-doubt. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Oh, the silence, it howls like the winds in a storm, like the wolves at the full moon, like a baby newborn. Well, I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Come out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants. I'm too scared to scream, too frightened to cry out, too filled with heartbreak, depression and self-doubt. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Oh, I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Oh, I should try living out loud. Okay. I look up and I see tune as the comment.
Tune.
And I still when I see it think, he's telling me to tune my guitar.
No. No. Tune.
I'm like,
That's what I'm doing.
tune my guitar? What are you saying? Weird
No.
British people.
It's a compliment, honestly, of
No,
the
I
highest
hear you.
order.
I now get it that you explained it because I didn't get it.
It's when, you're so bowled over by it, the only thing you can shout is, tune!
Tune. That's CHUNE. Tune. Speaking of tuning in, a non-mouse is tuning in for Smith and Valerie Sound Sessions 642 as an old person.
Yo, no mouse.
We got Hugh Caldwell showed up, which is good because now we have a mod.
Yay.
You're not like me. I have 8,000 people modded. You have 2 or 3. I'm one of them. We've got Zach Thong, the birthday boys here. We've got I'll never run out of songs to play, says Zach, because my book is that thick.
Exactly. Exactly.
Michelle is sweet and says sweet things. Limey Redneck is cooking.
Ooh, what we having?
What are we having, Limey? And then also Limey says, tune.
Tune.
With CH, which is, I'm pretty sure what you're saying.
Tune.
Tune. Okay, well, do you have a song you'd like to play for us?
Yeah, I can do something, yeah. Yeah, I'll play one of mine now.
That's the best ones to play.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea, isn't it?
It's a good idea.
And then, mind you, I was going to say we won't get a copyright strike, but Rod Stewart might come after it.
He always does.
You know?
Yeah.
Because he's a bit of a one like that, isn't he, Rob? You know, and Don.
Rod.
So let's put some reverb. Ooh, we've got reverb. Ooh. Look at that. Hey. Some guitar as well.
We've got, Hugh also says tune. Oh, so Hugh says tune, CHEWN. I kind of like that.
Like a dog is tune it.
We got some spaghetti bolognese from the folks' allotment with tomatoes from the folks' allotment.
Ooh. String of broken promises, a run of sleepless nights, the product of my black and guilty conscience, or a feeling that this ain't right. So I tell you, it's not the same, and I just don't like this anymore. I shake my head, hold back my tears, just show me to your door. How long will it be like this? How long can this go on? How long can the world be like this? How long can this go on? Forgotten days of importance, a long list of unanswered calls, some feeling of disaffection, or a feeling of nothing at all. So you tell me it's not the same, it's not the same anymore. And I shake my head, I hold back my tears as you show me to your door. How long will it be like this? How long can this go on? How long can the world be like this? How long? How long? How long can the world be like this? How long? How long? How long can the world be like this? How long? How long? How long?
Beautiful. I really enjoyed that. Justine says this is one of my favorite Mr. Smith songs.
Hey, bless you, Justin.
Also,
Vocal
Zach,
experiment at the end.
Oh, I know, I liked it. Zach said that he liked the jingling chords. I think this was a great, we didn't really talk about this so much, but this was a great example of, I think, what we're talking about here today, because we have both ends of streaming music setups. Like mine, I've got a guitar, it's not plugged into anything, and it's just going through this one condenser mic that you can see here.
Yeah.
And I have and so it's the simple, and I have a little bit of reverb in the OBS going on, but it's the same whether I'm talking or singing. I don't change anything. And this is how I'm running Friday Song Club. And then comparatively, you have vocal effects, guitar with separate guitar effects,
mixer.
Yeah, a mixer. You have like a full mixer. I just have
outboard compression as well, rather than OBS.
I'm just using a 2-input Behringer. So I just have the laptop in front of me with the one interface plugged in right below, and I just have the one mic plugged into it. There he is. That's funny. I have into my USB port, I have the Behringer interface plugged in, and then I have the second monitor, and I have my Ethernet. So theoretically it's faster, it's not. And then I have a second monitor, which is nice, so that I can see the chat is over here on the second monitor, and my camera is on my computer, so I'm just using the MacBook camera.
Yeah.
And so that's my whole setup. And I have a little separate keyboard and mouse, so I don't have to reach up here to get to the keyboard. So I'm over here. It's a little bit closer. And that's like my whole setup. It's not very fancy.
Well, but you don't need anything more than that, do you? That's the point, I think, isn't it? With this.
It works for me, but it's that thing too. It's like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to get? Like, now sometimes you've seen me, I'll do like electric guitar, and I have more, so then I'm using a DAW to run through so that I have effects. So all my effects, instead of being like manual effects that you're using here, are all through a computer program coming out. So that's a little different, and
it's kind of like the next step, isn't it? I suppose.
So that's if I have, that's my little bit better. But this is how I run 90% of my streams.
Yeah.
With just I just upgraded to the 2-input Behringer Euphoria. I had been using a Scarlett Focusrite. I have that. Actually, it's in here. I had been using this 2i2 Scarlett Focusrite, and until so it's good too. But I like this Behringer a lot. It's been very nice and stable, and I actually have two of them. I have the 2-input and the 4-input that if I ever have a friend over. So you want to start with talking about how would you choose an interface, and what kind of interface would you suggest or not suggest?
Well, there are so many, aren't there, of sort of what you'd say entry-level interfaces on the market. And with anything, I think it's easy to get bamboozled by so many choices.
I feel like the Scarlett series, the Focusrite series, has a lot of good press. Like, it gets the top.
Exactly.
Like, if you look on Sweetwater or any of your guitar store websites, it's always like at the top when you search for interfaces. And actually, the Behringer was hard for me to get comparatively. Like, I had it, like, I can't remember how I actually bought it finally, but like, couldn't get it at any local store. I think I probably did get it from Sweetwater, but like I couldn't go to Guitar Center and get it, and I couldn't go to my local guitar store and get it. They don't sell it as many places.
Whereas that's really popular over in Europe and the UK.
This one, brand new, like the new one that's come out now. So this is like an older generation, like 2nd gen or something. But even when I bought this one, it was $199.
Yeah.
This one, currently $79 at Sweetwater.
In fact, I have a picture of this as well.
Show the good pictures.
So
I like boxes too.
is it the 202 that we're talking about?
I have the 204. The 202 is currently $69. It's good. Should I go ahead and show that? Yeah. So this is the one I currently have. 204, the difference between the 204 and the 202, I'll show you both of them, is just that the 204 has MIDI in and out, which I've never used. It's got the RCA outputs in the back, those little playback output things, and it has a space for inserts, so you could plug in, like, if you wanted just full reverb on everything, basically, or compression on everything, you could plug that in there. It's like you had a physical box.
Yeah.
But its main difference is it has that mix knob right next to the phone's knob. And that mix knob, I can see, like I can control how much of Mr. Smith I get and how much of me I get at the same time. And so that's helpful also when I'm recording. Sometimes I want to have less of the track and more of me, or vice versa. And I can control that really easily with that one switch. And that's literally the only, that was worth $10 to me. Just that mix knob. That's really the only thing I'm using differently.
Yeah. And that's $10 more than the 202,
Yes. So this is $79 at Sweetwater right now. And the 202 has the same thing where it's got the two stereo inputs. So those jacks that say input 1 and 2 can be either mics or guitars. Or instrument cables. So aux cables or instrument cables. And the only difference it has, it doesn't have that mix knob. Literally only difference. And I guess the back doesn't have an insert, which most of you will never use. It doesn't have MIDI, which again, most MIDI now is through USB.
It is.
So this one is, I think, for if you're just looking for a bass model that you want to use, is really, really good. And will really do you. And if you want to spend extra $10 for that one knob.
Yeah, and I think this one particularly, so if you're just recording at home, this is great. Mm-hmm. If you are going to consider streaming on, say, an invited guest, then the 204 with the mix, so that you can hear what's coming back from the streamer,
right,
would be more beneficial, I would say.
It's nicer because sometimes it's both ways. Sometimes people seem really low and you need to bump them up, and sometimes they seem so loud. And as James says, knobs are important.
They are. They provide essential functions, don't they, James?
Thank you, James. Also, Zach has cut the birthday cake and is having a piece of birthday cake right now. So pass the cake. Nice one.
Excellent.
And
Hugh Caldwell, look at the chat.
Hugh Caldwell also has the Behringer.
He does. He does indeed.
Both of us bought this after you told us to buy this.
Well, the fact that they've got Midas preamps in them.
Mm-hmm. Midas preamps, people.
Midas preamps, honestly. Just that alone is worth it. They're just really, really good mic preamps that give most microphones on the market a fighting chance of sounding good before you need anything else, basically. Mm-hmm. You know?
Deep Burrito uses a Zoom L20, which is just under $1,000 for recording the whole band, and then the Scarlett's for home stuff. Yeah. So, Deep Burrito, I'm going to come visit and see your studio.
Yeah.
So, E. Urban is here, called us all knobs. And also, Edward Richard points out, if you buy it from Sweetwater, they also send you candy. I don't know if they do that.
Don't they?
Yeah, I don't know if they do that for you, because it's the best. Sparky, hello.
We don't have any shops like that in the UK that give you sweets.
E. Urban has a Focusrite 816.
Oh, cool. That's nice. Flexible.
So, Deep Burrito said they had an Alesis Strike Pro USB MIDI stopped working after an OS upgrade and had to use the old 5-pin MIDI out. So, there is I mean, I had a MIDI keyboard till fairly recently.
That's the Alesis Strike Pro's a drum kit.
Oh,
electronic drum kit. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then you can still use it.
I mean, you call me old school, but I much prefer the old school MIDI connectors rather than USB, because USB has a habit of being awkward.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. And I'm so, like, I've downgraded from, I had like the full keyboard that was a MIDI keyboard to now I have the tiny little keyboard that's just got the one octave on it. And You go up and down the octave, and because that's how I'm doing my MIDI little bass notes. Boom, 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 boom.
I like the two single fingers
that's
as well.
That's how you type, so don't even.
That's how I type on like that, really fast.
So yeah, no, not really fast. So that's that, you know, like for me and my personal non-MIDI use at this point, I have used MIDI more in the past.
Yeah,
But-
and like Deep Burrito was just saying, go back to 5-pin, yeah, because there's a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
USB has a tendency to glitch out if you unplug and plug in other devices, and it can literally crash the whole system. And it's easily unpluggable, especially with modern lighting systems being USB on MIDI as well. It's really easy for them to come out, whereas a 5-pin, it's got a solid connection. It's much harder to pull out one of those pins, and it doesn't go wrong no matter what you unplug on the system. It just stays solid.
Yeah, it's,
You know?
it's more like a real connection. Then Pole Vault uses the Alesis Multi Mix 4.
Cool.
That sounds fancy. So they have a. Did I send you a picture? Do they have like the Scarlett that's just got the one input, the solo?
Yeah.
They also have one that's the Behringer that's like the same deal, where it has.
There's the Scarlett Solo.
Okay, so the Scarlett Solo. Oh, so this one. Okay, this is also the latest generation one. So they've changed.
is.
If you get an older one, they're
Yeah.
a little bit different. Reasons I hate this are these microphone connection is in the back. That's just dumb. And
Yep.
then instead of having two connections that you could use for either two mics or two instrument cables or either or, you get one mic insert and you get one instrument insert, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's annoying.
And I don't know, like and to top it off, guess how much this cost?
$220.
Well, it's $199, but it's the same
Yeah.
price to get that crappy one, to get this crappy one, and they're both overpriced. And so
Well, that's-
Scarlett's never going to sponsor our show because screw this company.
Screw Scarlett.
And I've also
Screw-
had
screw 'em.
I've had one of these go bad, and I've had two of these. One of them's gone bad, and I've had two Behringers, and both of them have been awesome.
Yeah. I've heard the Scarletts are quite unpredictable, the modern stuff.
Yeah, they're not great, and the price of it is ridiculous because we're talking difference of for $69 you can get with. So you'd get this level. So this is show that one you just showed. So this is the 2i2. So this is a step up. So this is also $199. This is
Yep.
the new version of what I was just showing you. And so when at least you had mine had like the same, had two inputs and it could be either or. So this has two mic inputs and two instrument inputs, but I believe you can only use one at a time.
Correct.
You can only use, there's number one and number two, and it can either be the instrument cable or the mic in the back. It's not
Correct.
four input like it looks like if you look. And that makes me mad on a just fundamental level of there's four holes and you can't use all four holes.
Look, there's a lot of people in the chat that would agree with you that it's a shame if you can't use all four holes. Definitely,
Right.
I mean, what a waste.
What a
That
waste.
is what a waste. that is.
And I will.
And why didn't they just put universal inputs on the front?
That's what I'm saying. It's just I don't understand the
It's a
difference
marketing
why you would have this way. And then I don't know what the hell air and safe in audio. I don't know what these buttons mean. They're
They
not
mean-
intuitive to me.
So they mean bullshit.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
So I do think that
Safe is a compressor. Air is a load of needless top end if you've got a really crappy, cheap condenser that sounds woolly, basically.
Oh, James says, I don't know if James is pulling my leg, but I like this. The first MIDI was a xylophone that was promoted by Rolf Harris.
Oh yeah, the stylophone.
Oh.
Yeah.
So E-Urban likes the 816, and that's a little bit different because you do have more inputs and outputs, but it's still not a true 8. I don't know if you can use all 8 inputs at once.
No, it's a con, isn't it? It says 8, but are there not only 6 XLR ins on the 8i6 on
Yeah.
the 8i whatever it is? They all do the same thing. When they tell you it's a 12-channel mixing desk and you look at it, there's only 6 mic ins. The rest are stereo channels.
Well, my little mixing board has that, and it always pissed me off because I was like, "Can you all not count? This is not right."
Yeah,
Gary
it's
Hubbs has
marketing.
entered the room. Gary Hubbs will be on a little
Mr.
later.
Hubbs. Sir.
Hugh mentions this has not been an advertisement for Focusrite.
No, definitely not. Screw Focusrite, because it's marketed. So, I mean, Focusrite started this a long time ago. When they first started to make cheaper preamps, vocal preamps. Now, there's nothing better than the old school Focusrite preamps, vocal preamps. The green one particularly is beautiful. But they ended up, they probably, what would it be now, 15 years ago, they came out with a new range of preamps and they were on the cheaper side. So they tried to break into the lower end market, and they were garbage. They were really garbage, and they had such things as what they called a voice optimized EQ on them, which is garbage, you know.
That sounds like garbage.
Yeah, it's sales pitch, you know. Exactly, Gary.
I put that up. So I didn't show you this before. This is when I started streaming. This is how I was going in, which I still use this sometime for shows because it's very helpful. But it's a little Behringer Xenix QX1002 USB. So it goes in USB to my computer, and I have the 2 mic, or I could go line in on these first, and they have some gain knobs. And then all these are like additional sends out, but you can't use all of them really because there's not the way that is. It's like that it says that there's 10, but like
There's not.
It's not, because this controls 9 and 10, and this controls 7 and 8. So
Correct.
as long as you want the things to come out exactly the same level, which nobody does. So it's basically just 6. You can get 6 good things in here, which is good with like a small band or, doing a show. Like this worked for me for a long time. And you can put like a nice reverb on everything at once, and you can control how much reverb for each thing, but it's the same effect all the way through. So
they do a lot for what they are.
It's a good thing. It's I would always move the knobs, and then my whole thing was screwed. Whereas the interface is I've got it tucked under the computer, and I don't touch it. Set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Unless I'm recording something, I don't even mess with where they are at all.
So do you think, so for the people who are not really sure what you need to do a basic recording setup or a stream, do you think we should give them a little list of the items?
A list like this that I typed up for you?
What? How did you do that?
We should. So we started. I think you need to have an interface. Whether you get the Scarlett $200 interface or the Behringer 202 $69 dollar interface. That's like your start, because you got to play, and that plugs into USB on your computer.
That makes it possible.
So what was the second thing you need?
The second thing you need is a microphone. Dun, dun, dun,
So
dun,
I'm
dun.
using the Audio-Technica AT2020, which cost about $99 on Amazon right now.
Nice.
And it's your very low-end basic, and I think I got it on sale. It's basic
job.
low-end condenser mic. It doesn't have any buttons or things to mess with.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my mic, if you saw in the picture, I have it on a desk clamp. So it's on one of these boom arms, and it's just connected to the little desk here.
Which is another thing on the list, a microphone stand.
A microphone stand. So we'll start with mics itself. So there's this kind of mic, the condenser mic, which and then there's the other kind of mic like I use for vocals. It's called a dynamic mic, like if you see me at a show. So what's the difference between a condenser mic and a dynamic mic?
Okay, a condenser mic is different in the sense of it's powered. It supplies power. So there's a diaphragm that's different to a normal microphone. A normal microphone or a dynamic microphone is essentially a small speaker, and you speak into the speaker and it sends that information as a voltage down the wire. With a condenser microphone, you've got a powered diaphragm, and that diaphragm's a lot more sensitive, basically. So a condenser mic will pick up a lot more than a dynamic microphone, and it will usually have a much bigger pattern around it as well, so it'll pick up from a lot further back. A dynamic microphone usually has a sweet spot.
Yeah,
so like
it's normally pretty close.
SM58, you're usually within an inch of it, and there's a sweet spot to it where you hit it.
So I'm like this far away from the mic right now.
Yeah, and you can still technically hear that. So if we, for example, if we were recording in a studio setting, you'd be a lot closer.
I'd be like here, and I'd be,
yeah,
and I would not sing so loud. I'd be like that, but I wouldn't in a studio setting not be trying to have a guitar and voice at the same time. So I'm trying to set at a level where if I come back here and play this guitar, you're picking up the whole room, and you're also picking up my fan. You're picking up everything that's going on in my whole house.
Yeah, and my lighting's picking up noise as well because I've got stage lights up there. I've got fans in them, and so I think really, for the most part, you can get such a good deal on a condenser mic and interface that it's not really worth getting a dynamic mic for the most part. You may as well just get a condenser mic. However, a good dynamic mic is also really cheap. So an SM58, I wouldn't recommend anything else. I'd just say get an SM58 or maybe a Beta 57A.
He's saying Beta, B-E-T-A.
Beta, yeah, Beta 57. Yeah.
He says it like this, Beta.
Yeah.
I want to say hello to Steve Turgoose.
Hey, Steve.
Let's see. Seagull says he's not going to act up tonight. So
good man. Nice one,
we'll
dude.
see how long that lasts.
That's good.
So Zach asks, I want to know a simple and easy way to get my electric into my computer. So this is definitely where we're almost to.
Yeah, okay, Zach. Well, the first thing is don't use Scarlett, because Scarletts don't record heavy guitars well into a computer.
So in that case,
I seriously recommend the Behringer.
You would get this Behringer. Now you could get the 202 versus the 204. Both good. This was $10 more, a little bit better. The Shure is the Shure dynamic mic, the SM58, is about $99 on Amazon, and the Beta 57A is $149.
Yeah.
And so if you were going to try to play guitar and sing, and you had your guitar plugged in, and you want to sing, but you don't really want guitar noise into your mic, that the Beta would give you a little less of a recording bubble, so you wouldn't pick up as much.
Yeah, so the cardioid pattern, the cardioid pattern on an SM58 is designed to reject noise from the rear. So that's why it's become such a good microphone for bands, because it rejects the noise from the back of itself, so it rejects everything that the singer doesn't want in it. The 57A was developed to reject noise from the sides of the capsule, so particularly when used on brass sections and stuff. So the 57A does a really good job of rejecting your guitar that comes up at it when you're singing, rather than a 58. A 58 is, like I say, it's to reject from the back. So there is a very slight difference in them. But to be honest, it's so negligible that it's not worth arguing the toss over, really. And
I think unless you're planning on also doing live performances or something, your condenser mic is a really good all-around mic for these kind of things.
Yeah.
So the cheapest, most affordable condenser mic that Mr. Smith still recommends.
Yeah, which I'm using now.
Oh, I didn't know you were using it now.
Yeah, it's a Tascam TM80.
Well, now that I see the picture and then look at you, then that makes sense. So this Tascam TM80 comes at, I think it was Sweetwater, for $69. Nice. Yeah. And it comes with a cord, comes with a shock mount, and it comes, I believe, with a little case.
It does, yeah. I use these for overheads and rooms, so that's one of the overheads off the drums. This is the bundle that you can get.
So that also has a little desk tripod that or table, that you can put, which is an okay stand, but it's pretty suck, I think, personally. But if your space is small, if you just have like the tiniest little desk area, maybe this would be the thing you need, because I would suggest, so you have different kind of mics. I'm going to skip ahead to mic stands.
Yeah,
You got the different kind of mic stands. You got like this boom arm stand that's clamped to the desk. You have your standard straight up and down. It might have a round base or it might have a tripod base, and it's on the floor and coming up. I have a problem with those because I'm playing guitar and I want the mic to be right in front of me, and there's not enough space between.
Yep, often the case.
So I like personally a boom mic that's you can either get with the round bass, which are usually a little bit more expensive, or the tripod bass, which are usually a lot lighter, and with a boom arm. And that cheapest one I found on Sweetwater was the Behringer MS-2050L for $19. And also, my pawn shop always has like a whole line of old stands, which are great, usually very cheap, but you just have to make sure that they actually adjust. Yeah,
well, there's another cheap mic on the market as well, if you keep your eyes open for it in the pawn shops and stuff. Sound Lab do really good microphone stands, particularly the silver ones with the heavy double brace on the bottom. Really cheap, but really good.
Yeah. For being at home, I don't think the bass weight matters as much, but the mic is kind of heavy. A condenser mic is heavier, so if you have the boom mic all the way out, it will just fall over. So I know, who said it? Someone mentioned that sometimes, sandbags on the tripod base help, says Deep Burrito, which definitely does.
But to be honest as well, most studios you'll find with condenser mics still have weighted microphone stands, so there's a weight on the opposite end of the boom. Usually. Yeah.
So I'm using the boom arm clamp for right now, but like when I go play a show, I have a I've got a little fancier because I'm using it a lot, and it's a very heavy stand that has a heavy bass, and it but it folds up pretty well, and it has a boom arm, and it's black. And so, you know, like that works for my live shows better. But I don't put it out here in the house. I don't have the room. I'm in this little corner. So there's space and there's functionality and stuff.
I think those, the table clamp mic stands are slightly more expensive, though, aren't they, as well?
So sometimes you can get a deal on a bundle where the condenser mic comes with a boom arm stand, and that comes pretty cheap. There's also, it's the same as a light stand sometimes, so if you're a little handy, you can usually just take the end off of one and put the condenser mic thing onto the end of it.
That's cool.
So you can fashion something like this too. But it is more expensive just to buy a new boom arm stand with a clamp and you have to make sure the clamp works for if you have a fat desk.
Yes.
Like I've taken this whole thing to the TV studio and it doesn't fit on the desks there. And so like that didn't work. I had to go get a regular ass stand. Okay. So also usually mine does not have a shock mount, but the one that you have comes with a shock mount. It's all included and helps with the vibration.
It does.
If you're stomping.
It isolates the microphone, basically, yeah.
So there's one bundle that I saw that came with the UMC 204 interface, and it had the Behringer B1 condenser mic for $79. That's this pictured here. And it came with a boom stand and headphones and things, and it was on Sweetwater, and it's all together in one little package. I cannot vouch for the quality of the headphones or anything, but this has everything you would need, and it was $209 currently.
I actually have some of those Behringers. They're the Behringer headphones. The headphones are not the most comfortable things in the world. They're a bit plasticky. However, for the price, to get somebody going with the essentials for a setup, they're really good. They're really good.
Yeah,
given the price.
So But let's go ahead and talk about headphones. When you search headphones on Sweetwater, there's like, I'm going to say 1 million billion choices.
A billion million, yeah.
And it's a lot. And they run from like, the cheapest one I found on Sweetwater were the Behringer HPM 1100s. I'm not sure that's not what that was. They were $11.
Yeah, they're not comfortable though at all.
I'm wearing the Sennheiser HD206, which were $69. Nice. On Sweetwater. I bought these because it has a 3-meter long cord.
Yay, that's what you need. That's what you need.
And so this long ass cord means that because they go from like 1 meter, 3 meter. There's no in between. And
Nope.
I also, you can get an extension, but I have had problems with every headphone extender I've ever bought. They're
Me
always
too.
like a little.
Me too. Yeah.
They don't quite work.
They're always pretty garbage.
I think they're pretty garbage. So
Yeah.
one thing I noticed when you look on for microphone for headphones, they have like categories: closed back versus open back.
Yes.
These are closed back. What would you suggest?
Okay, the argument raises over closed and open back. I would suggest for recording closed back because they isolate the sound against your head more and stop any bleed into the microphone that you're recording with.
Slightly.
Open back are usually more for top-end hi-fi listening, realistically.
So open back, you can hear like the room more.
Well, essentially, yes, but it just means the way that the speakers operate inside the headphones is different. So the speakers have breathing room, if you like. Mm-hmm. So it's almost as if they're ported. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whereas the closed back ones, the speakers are in a sealed enclosure.
They're coming,
So there's a difference in the way they behave. So there's a difference that people can hear in the response of that as well.
Right. So like Deep Burrito mentions you have an open back for mixing.
Yes, exactly.
And the closed back for doing the recording.
Exactly, yeah. And the closed backs, especially when you're doing recording work and stuff and you're dealing with compression to make things safe. So your vocals are compressed on the way in so that you're not blowing your eardrums apart. The closed back headphones can give strange little illusions at times, especially if you turn them up loud.
Right.
They can do strange things to your hearing.
So when I'm playing my regular Friday Song Club by myself, it's not the two of us, I don't even wear headphones.
No.
I'm just, because I have some kind of idea, I don't know if I'm right, but I have an idea of how loud I am. And so just from doing recordings and stuff, I think, and I don't like to wear them forever. So I only wear them when we're doing this because if you're doing any kind of StreamYard or any shared stream, if I didn't wear these and if I was using like my regular stereo monitor, you would be able to hear it.
Yes.
But what are you doing right now?
I have in-ears under here.
Okay.
Wireless
So you're
in-ears.
using the wireless in-ears.
So the pack's on the back of my head. There you go. Little pack on the back of my head. And they're wireless. So they just make it really easy. And the thing is I've always vouched for this. The best thing that you can provide for yourself musically is consistency with monitoring. So if you're recording or you're streaming or you're playing live shows, ideally you want the same monitor setup. So realistically, the best thing to do would be to get a set of in-ears and some wireless system, which are very cheap now. You're talking about $40 maybe, something like that. Mm-hmm. And get used to using that. That means that could go everywhere with you. And you've got a very consistent place to work in. Mm-hmm. So that would realistically be long term, that would be my advice. Get yourself some in-ears, get yourself a little wireless pack, and then that way, all you ask if you go anywhere is a little connection into it, and then you ask for the mix, and you're in the same environment that you were at home.
Right.
And it's comfortable.
It is. These are rechargeable wireless headphones. And
Yes.
the rechargeable is, I think, they are $40, but you need two of them.
Yes.
Because you need to have one charging.
You do really need to have a spare one, yeah. If you're going to do a long session, you need to. But realistically, for $80, to have the ability to have wireless
Still
monitoring
on the
for
same.
10 hours,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
So I bought the same ones I think that you have, but I've still not found good actual earbuds that will fit in my ears for a long time and stay in there, because when I'm singing and my mouth moves, they just pop right out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just still haven't found the ones that fit me yet, which they have ones that are like you can get molded to your ear, and they have like just different kinds. So I'm hopeful that I will find the ones that fit me. But I haven't found them yet.
Have you seen the ones that look like little mini Christmas trees?
That's what I have.
Ah, okay.
I have little mini Christmas trees, and it had like 18 sizes, and I used the little bittiest ones. And I have narrow ear canals.
Sorry, G-May, good to see you.
G-May, greetings.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show as well the other night, buddy. Cheers, man.
So Zach mentions microphone. I have a Lewitt LCT 240 Pro and the Lewitt LCT 140 Match.
Beautiful. Lewitt's are particularly
Lewitt's.
good microphones, yeah, and they're sort of middle ground money-wise, if you like.
So let's see. Deep Burrito says the L20 mixer has Bluetooth in-ear monitoring when recording.
Class.
And now the latency for that has gotten really, you can't really tell anymore.
It's immediate, especially all the 2.4 gig stuff as well now. It's immediate.
So Deep also says that I should get personal molded in-ears, which I think I've been wanting to do it. They are a little more expensive.
Help. Yeah, it would help. But it's about, I think it's the same in the UK. It's about 150 quid or $200.
It is about that. And I think for how much I use them and then how I'm playing out, I've been monitoring more, in trying to do in-ears versus carrying the big ass monitor when I'm doing it makes more sense, I think, just to. And also the sound. Sometimes I'm bouncing back too many places. So it is something I want to upgrade to, is having good in-ear earbuds themselves.
It does make a difference. I mean, I've got to be honest. So I've used all sorts of monitors and buds and stuff, but I have a particular thing for Motorola buds. I use Motorola's. I can get them cheap. They're actually for mobile phones.
Oh.
But they handle the bass response really well and are really good for giving me a kick drum feel without making me deaf, you know?
Yeah. I can't wait till I find ones that I'm like, these are it.
When you get them molded, that's what it'll be like.
I think so, because I just have weird ears. I will say for my headphones, one thing that I think is really helpful is it doesn't have to be like a fancy stand. I have one. I bought a headphone hook, so it hooks on the desk, and you can hook them, and they're not on the floor and they're not on the table.
Yeah.
They have like little trees.
Yeah,
you can put them on. Sometimes here I have this. My microphone stand has a hook on it, and that's usually where it is for this one. And I use the other one for my headset mic. But I like these because otherwise my headphones are always on the floor if I don't have a stand for them, and that's bad.
Yeah, and they'll get kicked or stood on, or sometimes you'll forget because you've been wearing them for a bit, and you walk off and you rip out some of your system, you know. Which is another reason why I just think the wireless now, because it's so cheap, I don't think it's worth doing anything else myself. I think the practicality of it is it outweighs everything else, even if there is a slight price to pay with maybe sound quality. If you're really going to argue it,
but it's getting better and better.
Correct. This is it.
And I do think like the earbuds for that also make a difference. Like I can tell that I've tried so many different earbuds, and some of them just sound tinny and some of them sound fine, so it does make a difference what your actual headphones are or your earbuds are. Okay, so did you have any headphones that you wanted to recommend? I didn't put it on this list, but
if I'd say anything, if you're really going to do it and you're going to go for the IEMs, I would get the Shures. The Shaw 101, is it the first one that they do? Although there is one, Charlie mentioned this actually, and they are particularly good for particularly cheap. I think they're called KV P3s in-ear monitors.
Oh, okay. I'll check those out.
Around $60, I think. Particularly good. Proved themselves on the market. Used by a lot of people. Cheap enough to buy a couple of them in case one runs out of battery or even breaks.
Nice. Okay, so we've gone to rehash what we've talked about. You need an interface. You need a
Yes.
microphone. You need a
Yes.
microphone stand.
Yes.
You need headphones to have at least.
Yes.
And then
Microphone cable.
You need cables. So you have.
Yes.
Oh, I shouldn't. Yeah, I don't have any extra cables. So yeah, you need a microphone cable. Now, if you get that Tascam TM80, it comes with a not crazy long, but probably long enough for you to be at your computer.
It's a start.
Yeah, and also these can be, you can make, if you have two of them, now you have it longer if you put them together. You probably hate that.
Correct. Well, no, I do that all the time.
I do that all the time.
I do it all the time.
Because I have all different links.
Well, the other thing as well, you know, Valerie, with the fact that this bundle is only, is it $70
It's
or
$60, $69 plus tax.
$69 on Amazon at the moment. If you think about this, for $140, you would have a really nice stereo pair of microphones as well, which would, so for example, somebody like yourself, if you got another microphone like that and you put them up as a stereo pair, you get a different image to your sound. Now, some people
true.
like that, you know,
Yeah.
and it can provide a really different sonic experience for somebody. And I'd say that those microphones are cheap enough to look at for doing things like that.
That's kind of interesting. I hadn't thought about that, but I do have two condenser mics. They're not the same exact kind, but
That's okay, as long as you get them somewhere close EQ-wise, you know.
that would be interesting to test, like what that sounds like. I'd never tried it. Okay, so we have, and cables are usually like available everywhere, like regular
everywhere.
Guitar Store, Amazon, Sweetwater, anywhere you can get these. And so then you have, you know, if you have an instrument, if you're playing like a guitar or something, if your guitar plugs in, if you're Zach Thong and you have an electric guitar, you can plug right into your Behringer interface.
You can.
To your guitar. You could have pedals first, and then
pedal board, a
pedal board going into it, and you could go straight into your Behringer with your electric guitar. Now again, I am.
Thanks, James. Thanks, James. See you later, buddy.
See you, James. Let's see. You can do something. Okay. Oh yeah, speaker wire is great for cable management. That's smart. So, and then also, I have my guitar. I also have my guitar sitting here on a guitar stand.
Yes, which are probably essential, aren't they, guitar stands?
Well, I think if you have your guitar not on a guitar stand, it's going to fall over and you're going to be sad. And sometimes even if it's on there, it's going to fall over and you're going to be sad. So,
well, yeah, I'm gonna show you something here as well.
Show
right?
me,
So
please.
I'm gonna show. This is like a show and tell, is it?
Yes.
At school, you do. We don't do that in the UK. That's an American thing, isn't it?
That's how we learn.
So this is a really, really, really cheap way to make a guitar stand. It's 2 pieces of wood. Yeah.
Oh, I like this.
And it has a hinge on the top. Mm-hmm. And it has a thing on the bottom. And all you do is you just open it up.
Yes.
And your guitar sits in it.
Yes.
Yeah. So anybody with some basic woodworking skills could make, and I shall sit the guitar in it for you now as well. So there you go.
Ooh. Ah.
Ta-da.
Yes.
So anybody with a single door hinge, a bit of wire, 2 bits of wood, and 10 minutes worth of patience could make their own guitar stand.
Yes.
As well. So you don't really even have to buy it. Or you can go and buy one for $100 that's got blue lights on if you want, you know.
I have a very cheap one that is similar, but is I bought it. Even I like woodwork, but I don't trust myself in my guitars. I am caught on.
Hey, hi, Rainfield. Good to see you.
So I'm using for my little Martin. I
There you
have
go,
one
yeah.
of these, and it's good because
Yeah.
fits in your pocket. I don't know, your pocket.
Now,
Fits,
there's something with that stand, and with the one that I've just shown. Now, you'll realise this. On a guitar that plugs in, you wouldn't be able to use that stand.
It would be too short.
Yes, because the jack hanging out the bottom would be on the floor.
I also don't like it for my. I actually only use this one for my little Martin that's tiny.
Okay.
If I'm using any electric guitar, I have a stand with a neck holder
Yes.
because of the weight
Yeah.
of it. Guitars are just love to fall off of this, especially because it's just not very high. And then also an
Yeah.
electric guitar is so like thin. This does nothing to like keep it in any kind of place.
Of course, yeah.
It's only good for this little baby guitar.
Got you. Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, the type of stand, if you don't just buy the first guitar stand you see, have a think about where your guitar lead comes out and what the size of
Yeah.
it is, and
You have to have room on the bottom, or sometimes if you have a Strat, or maybe it's on the side or something. But it's
yeah.
most of mine are on. Well, that's not really true. Half of mine are on the bottom, and you have to have the stand that is high enough up where it
Yeah.
won't hit. Yeah. Put your instrument on stuff. And so if you were, maybe you're playing a keyboard instead, this would be the same thing. You have a little keyboard
Yes.
out, you would plug
Yeah.
your keyboard into the interface, and you would need a little stand here in front of you. Mm-hmm. This is me playing a keyboard.
And I think, nice. That was nice.
You like that technique.
I thought it was me that was going to do interpretive dance.
I tried. You hid yourself. Zach says a 5 or 7 guitar rack would be even better, and I agree.
Yeah, Dave's got one with the hamsters. I think Dave has 5 on it that you can put on it.
Pole Vault says my guitars will not sit in a stand. Yeah, I don't have one of these hang. I have mine's across the room. I don't want to go get it, but it's like you have a neck stand.
Yeah.
It holds the neck of the guitar.
Yeah.
It also it rests against a base that has a nice padded part, so it doesn't chip your paint.
Yeah.
So then my other thing is we disagreed on this one. For me, for what I'm doing, it's necessary for me to have a music stand. Sometimes that's a full-ass music stand because I have my full-ass thing of music that I'm playing from on Fridays. But then sometimes, and this is how I do it when I play out, I have songs on my little tablet. And I have one of these tablet clamps, which will clamp to my, you put the tablet in his side, and it clamps to my, it clamps to my mic stand when I'm playing out, and it clamps to this desk when I'm playing here. And so...
No, I think the reason I said about the tablet clamp and preferring the tablet than the written stuff is because, to be honest, it was because of the crossover into the live stuff. Mm-hmm. Now I've been in that awful place live where either there's a storm brewed up and all of your paperwork blows off the stand, or somebody knocks the whole thing over and it's gone. Mm-hmm. Or the lighting means that you can't see it, and that's often the case with live. Poor lighting for your lyrics. So I found something years ago. If you put it into a tablet and you make the text green and the background black, it stands out in any situation.
Mine, I think the chords are green and the text is white or something like that. Like they're different colors. I'm going to grab my stand to show Pole Vault.
Yeah. Hashtag pro streamer.
Pro streamer, I hit my head on the mic. I hit the whole table.
Brilliant. I love it. That's great.
Okay, this is going well. That was a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did that.
That was cool.
Yeah, let's do that every time. So this is my guitar stand that I use mostly. It's got a neck holder with a little strap.
Yes.
And it's got a little tripod base.
Nice.
And I make it super tall, depending on how tall the guitar or bass is.
Yeah.
And the little guitar rests in there on its headstock. And you can lock it in. And it's got a pretty wide base, so it doesn't really fall over. At that last show, when the speaker hit my head, it fell over.
That was so close. How you didn't get clobbered by that speaker, I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. So this is one that I really like, and I thought it like had the name on it, really obvious, but it doesn't seem to. Now in my head, it had like the name on it real big, but it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't,
no.
Luna.
No. Did you hear a Luna then? Yeah.
I did. Hold on, my computer's not.
Come on, sweetheart. Come on. Join the stream. There you go.
Pro streamer.
Yay. Oh, she's
My
bashing the
computer
microphone.
wasn't plugged in.
Oh, there you go. She's
I'm
bashing
sorry.
the microphone.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
It's
I think you've had my attention for too long or something. She's complaining.
Yeah. She likes me though. Oh,
Yeah,
hey.
okay.
Oh, here's what it is. I have a K&M stand.
Okay.
That's what it is. It does have a name on it. And I really like it because then pack's really small for when I'm playing a show.
Yeah,
And it fits really tiny.
that's cool, and it does look very solid.
It's pretty. It's one of the more solid ones that I found.
Yeah.
Luna takes the mic. I like that. So Deep Burrito has a scar on the top of his head. Got hit by a falling Marshall amp. I'm like a double stack. Like, what are you doing there? That's crazy. Gary Hubbs has never used the hashtag pro streamer.
never once.
I have not.
No.
Yeah.
Never.
Zach has a guitar rack to hold 5 guitars. My acoustics are on that, and my electric are on a triple stand. That
Okay.
is. I like. Michelle likes full ass music. Let's see. Hugh has 2 7 guitar racks, which
That's still not enough, Hugh.
it's still not enough. But I'm like, I don't even remember that because like he has. If you go into Hugh's house, it's like he's got a ton just on single racks hanging on the walls,
They're just everywhere.
and then like you go like, oh, I know where one is. It's behind the green screen, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
remember that one.
All right. Yeah.
And then maybe that's on the other side of that room, or
Maybe.
and maybe in the different room. But there's just guitars, and then there's guitars in cases. It was a guitar museum.
Yeah.
That was the most guitars I've ever seen privately owned.
It was a lot, wasn't it?
It was a lot.
It was a lot to take in.
So Rainfield says, I have found the strings on my guitars last longer if they stay in the case. I could see that being a...
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
There is and realistically, you should be wiping your guitar down every time you finish playing with it because there's a lot of just the cells and the salt and the sweat that comes off your fingers. They really do damage the strings and the fretboard. Mm-hmm. You really should be giving it a wipe down after you've finished every time and putting it in a case.
And Live to Fly channel is here. Good to see you, David.
Hey, hi, David.
And it was a Marshall double stack. Went to pull the boost, but the whole thing came down.
Dude. Whoa, I bet that went with a bang. I've been there as well. I've been there where I've had live and I've had big monitor stacks collapse, fall over. It's not pleasant when it goes because they're big and heavy things, aren't they?
Okay, so eUrban has sent me... So eUrban's using for cable management, they're using the speaker wire as twist ties
Okay, yeah,
to
cool.
keep it in place. I use these, I have these little Velcro straps. I bought like a box 100 of them, and I just put everything in a Velcro strap at the end. And they were like, it was like $10 for 100 or something stupid. And so I bought them all.
Well, okay. So, that's something. Let me.
And then let's see, my strings on each other. David. Live to Fly has some really nice Taylors and really nice guitars.
So when I first got myself into a recording studio where I could actually work there, I went to tie up a cable and I did that thing where you did it round your arm, like a thing.
Yeah, my arm is too long for that. It's always too big of a whole bundle.
Well, the guy that I was there with nearly collapsed on the floor. Was disgusted in me, and he showed me how to wrap a cable.
Oh yeah, I've had this.
Yeah.
I've had an old man tell me how to wrap my cables too.
But it's not the coiling, it's the end bit. Look, you don't need a tie, look, because if you take you just do that, and you hold it there, it's done, and it's wrapped up, and it stays wrapped up in your bag.
Yeah. So I believe that this is, I've heard this, and I've seen other people successfully do this, and mine don't do that. When I put them into my box wrapped like that, they try to mate. And then they all wrap it up, and when I take it out again, they become one giant ball of cord.
And they have little tiny patch lead babies.
Yes. And so I have to wrap each one separately. And even then, they kind of try to like sneak in because they're getting freaky. I have found personally that I need to wrap the cables each separately. And actually have a strap, because I've done it where you strap it and you like click the two leads into the end together so that they are already fornicating as they are.
Yeah, they're already.
They will try to have a threesome. They will. They don't.
Oh,
care.
they're terrible. Yeah, you'll get RCAs banging XLRs before you know it. You know what I mean?
It's
Hey, Ali Patches, good to see you.
Right. So, and it's also dependent on how long this cable is, because I have most of mine are like 3 feet, 6 feet. I have a 30-foot speaker cable that I have to use sometimes to connect my speakers, and it's stupid ass long, and it's huge, and it's heavy,
and it's annoying.
And it always you try to enter up and down, enter out, and up, and it just doesn't want to do anything because it's so long. It has its own coil inside than it wants to be.
Well, I know Deep Burrito mentioned this actually earlier. So it really has gotten to the point where a quality wireless guitar system, such as this little thing on the guitar there, so a quality wireless pack like that now is actually cheaper than a quality cable. Actually cheaper.
Well, a quality cable is their thing, because if you got like real, nice connectors and stuff.
Yeah. But you can quite happily go and spend $60 on a cable, but you can get a good guitar wireless interface for $40.
Yeah, and it is that part where they are now good.
Exactly.
10 years ago, no chance. They were not good.
Yeah, but now, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I said hello to Ali Patches. Edward says today is a real encyclopedia of information. Coldacre said I went wireless in 2021 and never looked back.
Hey, Coldacre, I didn't see you come in, man.
I'm jealous of that. I think I would like to upgrade to that at some point.
It's totally liberating, isn't it, Coldacre? It's all of a sudden so many issues go out of the way.
Yeah, there's still so many cables you need for some things. Like,
granted, you can't do wireless everything.
To get some things not, to have wireless is huge.
Yeah, and just this, something as simple. So I've got guitar pedal board underneath the table here, and the lead can get stuck under the volume expression pedal if you've pulled it wrong. And just something like that is gone with the wireless system. Doesn't happen. There's lots of little things to it.
So Deep Burrito says you can get them for $29, 164-foot range Joyo.
Yeah, the Joyo stuff is brilliant.
It really is. Everything they do, pedals, it's so incredibly cheap. If you need an entry, to getting these kind of things, preamps, everything they have is like super affordable.
It is.
I'm not sure of the ethical nature of how they're making things this cheap, but I'm not going to question it.
It's probably slaves been beaten on the feet with sticks, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Being fed a bowl of rice a day.
But. If they're lucky. If they deserve it. Gary Hubbs packs all his gear away every time he uses it. It can be a barrier to creativity when you can't just grab and go and capture ideas. I totally
This is why I love Gary Hubbs.
Right?
This is why I love him. I would be in a band with Hubbsy immediately. In fact, I'd pay.
I do a thing where I don't do it every time, but sometimes I do this thing that drives people insane, but it's because they don't understand and they make like a quick judgment. So I have a giant, I put everything is in like one giant red bucket. All my cables, all my mics, all my everything that's not. Well, I have one for stands. So I have a stand bag, and I have that. Okay. Everything goes into this bucket, and when I come out, everything's wrapped, and I put it up, and I've actually pulled the cords that I need for that show and put them on top, so I know exactly. And then one doesn't work, I have backups. You know, I'm all ready to go. At the end of the show, I have just played for 2 hours after just setting everything up for an hour. I'm tired. After driving, I drove an hour, set up for an hour, played for 2 to 3 hours. Yep. I'm freaking tired. And I don't want to. And then it's the thing where if I sit there and try to rewrap all my chords and put them back in the box, 18 people want to come over and talk to me while I'm doing it.
That's the difficult bit.
Everybody wants to have a conversation. And I'm like, I am wrapping chords. I can't multitask. So if I pick everything up off the ground, unplug everything, put it in a pot, put it all into the bucket, shut the bucket, put it in my car, run away, and say, hi, thank you, appreciate it, good to see you. And then, you know, I don't have to socialize after this thing where I'm exhausted, and I have to drive home an hour still. And then I get home, then I take everything out of the bucket and sit in my pajamas and, you know, roll everything up and put it back in the box before I put it into the closet.
Are the pajamas essential? Just a question.
Well, it's like I'm not wearing the red dress anymore.
Okay,
you know, I don't have the cowboy boots on. I've taken all this off, and I'm wearing like.
Well, I'd hope you took the cowboy boots off if you had your pajamas on.
Yeah. So I've put in any kind of casual outfit. I think would work for this scenario. Could be whatever if you want to have a romper, whatever you want to wear. But I like personally, I just wear pajamas. So if you don't wear pajamas, this might not work for you. Because I wouldn't do this naked. I don't wear clothing because they're dirty. All these things are dirty. They've been on the floor.
I know, it's bad, isn't it?
A restaurant or something, and they're gross. So so then I get to sit and like watch TV or something and like decompress and roll things up without having to try to have a conversation at the same time, and like without, you know, and just work on that one thing. So people think that I keep my cables crazy horrible and I'm some kind of crazy cable hoarder, nasty girl of like, she's gross. And I'm just like, y'all don't.
Listen, if I watched you at the end of a gig,
I would throw up.
I would have been blown away by what you just done. Probably fallen a bit in love with you musically. You know, oh, she's the best thing ever.
No, then you would hate me.
And then I'd watch you do this, and I would never ever want to speak to you or hear of you again. If I witnessed that, I would be having palpitations at best. I'd be throwing some kind of conniption on the floor. Yeah.
No, it's. I mean, I agree that people see it and make a quick judgment and think that that's just how I'm keeping my cables. But I'm like, I'm trying to get away from
I'm sweating thinking about it now. I've got to be honest.
You wouldn't be able to last with them in your trunk. I'll drive home.
Yeah, just, you know, I mean, I've took my drum kit apart and all my cables are coiled there, and you know they're all.
That's his entire drum kit, y'all. It's in pieces, the whole thing.
I have to do it.
He took all the mics off and all the drum things. And I don't know if you're going to be streaming on Tuesday. If you're looking at this,
no, I'm taking 2 weeks off.
You're going to have to.
Screw that. I'm taking 2 weeks off. In fact, I can show you here. Let's show you. Let's get this camera up. Yeah, it's me from that angle. That's slightly weird, isn't it? Hello.
Okay, Seagull, you were doing so well. I'll give you one more chance.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. We did encourage that. I've got to say.
I did. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay. So So it's big hand moment. There we go. Yeah. So this is now my drum kit is. I've not disassembled the kit yet. But look, I've even put the microphones out on the foot. So this is how many microphones it takes. So that's for the drum kit. And then there are all of these cables and boxes and stuff here, and then the cymbals, and then the kit's still up.
The basic drum part is still
Yeah,
there.
the shell and the things, but it's all coming out. All of that's coming out as well. The whole thing's moving forward by about 6 inches as well. I want to do something different with it.
Yeah.
I'm using a different colour paint on it as well. Yeah,
like you're
just
painting
full
the
on.
back again?
Yeah, I'm doing the back, but a different shade of green because I don't like the way the camera reads it, to be honest. So I'm going to make a different green.
So yeah, so he's built this little area here and built in the walls there, painted them all green.
Yeah.
The little curtain thing, that's a window.
Yeah.
And so he's got, you see up at the top, he's got where he's hanging all his lights. And then you can see there's a monitor there on the left. You have a second monitor too, right? That's on the floor.
That monitor on the floor actually suspends from the ceiling normally. That's been
And it's like
taken
right over
down
his
now.
kick drum.
Yeah. Yeah, that mounts up here. And then they're like the overhead mounts and lighting mounts at the back as well. Yeah, it's a fairly complicated setup. There's definitely a mile of cable in it. And I'm working with stuff like this as well. So they're looms. So that's a 30-meter cable, 8-way jacks on them. So it's crazy. But then we talk about streaming setup as well. And we're talking about making it kind of simple for people. Which, it's all you need. You don't have to make it complicated.
Yeah.
But once you get to what's going on here,
So this part's a little complicated.
yeah, it becomes a different issue.
So
to be
how
honest.
many channels do you have on this mixer?
This is 48.
This is 48 channel. This is the big one.
Yeah. But I use
then
this as a
there's the little
submix
one.
for my headphones. Yeah, just this is not how stuff's usually set up. It's just because I've ripped it all out. This submix is usually over there.
Sometimes you have the medium one that's like halfway larger than that.
Yeah.
And then, so talk about, somebody else had asked about monitors. So you have real monitors.
Yes, I do.
Tannoy monitors. What do you have?
Yeah, Tannoy System 800s.
Which is what I use at the audio system when I go to audio studio at Longmont Public Media. I use those. Or they're like a different kind, but they're Tannoy.
Yeah, I've got some not Canadian. They're from New Zealand called Kamala. Not Kamala. Something like that. Something at the beginning with a K. I can't remember, but there's some really good near fields as well. And then some Mission 760Is that are really good for doing comparison work when I'm mixing. And then the main board, which runs all the drums and holds the Bush Baby and stuff,
Yeah,
obviously.
important. Yeah, that part's necessity.
And
And then you have a
this
very
is the bit
large...
for Pole Vault. Hey, Pole Vault, it's me, Bush Baby. How you doing, man? Good to see ya.
I didn't know Bush Baby sounded like Dom.
Hey, I've known Dom for a long time. We go way back,
So, and then you got the largest. I think your monitor is bigger than my TV at home.
It's fairly big, yeah. It's fairly enormous, yeah.
So
and then
I'm
there's-
using two kind of small. I mean, way smaller.
And this is outboard racking as well. So I do compression and some splitting.
Sometimes delay.
Yeah, I can sometimes do delay. Yes. Or we could have.
Turn it off.
We can have distorted delay if you want. I can get all angry and stuff.
Why did I bring this up? Deep Burrito, we'll see you later. Hope you're feeling better.
Nice one, Deep. So yeah, that's what goes into just the drum setup to go streaming. All of that garbage over there. So it gets a little bit hectic,
It's a lot of stuff you have, and it's as
It is.
as E. Urban mentioned, your space is very clean.
Thank you.
And,
Yes.
and I will attest to, I have visited the studio this past summer, and it's very clean.
Yeah, the place is clean and nice, and it smells nice, and I'm clean, and I've had a wash. Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's all right. You can kiss me. I've brushed my teeth, you know.
But like the whole area, you hoover. I call it
Yes.
vacuuming.
Vacuuming,
But
yeah.
it's a very large space, and so this is just one of your rooms, and you have a next door where you're
Yeah.
recording bands or where you have band rehearsals and stuff.
Yeah.
That has a
lot-
second
a lot
drum
more
kit.
gear in
Do you
there.
have to, is there 2 drum kits in there or just one?
Yeah,
sometimes two.
There's sometimes 2, depending on what's going on. Yeah. And I think I do own maybe 6 kits roughly, but I've chopped into a couple, and I don't really care about them. They're all just tools.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of drums, to be honest.
You do have a lot of drums. And you also have, all the instruments, basses
Yeah.
and guitars and electric guitars and
Several, yeah. Which all to me are just tools. I've got to be honest as well. So I know. I mean, did I used to covet this stuff? Did I used to look at pictures? I don't think I ever did. I think I'd be talking nonsense if I said I used to look at pictures of big mixing desk and dream of owning it. I didn't. I've always seen this stuff as just a tool. So for me, to get a drum kit into a computer or into a tape machine, you actually need a mixing desk. And because a drum kit's massive, it might need to have 30 channels. Mm-hmm. Well, that's just a tool for the job. That's like saying to have to knock a nail into the wall, you need a hammer.
right.
You know? And there's a lot of different types of hammers that you can use, but essentially you're just going to bang a nail in. Well, it's the same with this. So I've never really coveted it. It's all just tools. My guitars are the same. They're just tools that I use. But don't get me wrong. Try and take it off me, you'll have a fight on your hands. But I'm not a lover of gear, not by any means. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and then also, like, besides the music, you also have the lighting equipment. So you have
There is that, yeah.
multicolors and spots and all sorts of different fancy lights.
Yeah, we can do stuff with the lighting. I
have a sparkle string light.
Oh no,
So
it's the police. Oh no, the police
lights
are.
are important, but they could be your $20 Amazon sparkle lights that
Exactly.
I bought. Or so I do think this is a good example of, like, I think I have especially in comparison to you, just the most bare-boned streaming setup that you could
Yeah.
possibly have, so for an acoustic guitarist. Because I have the one Behringer, I have the 204, and I have the one condenser mic,
Yeah.
and it's on a boom arm, and I have the cables, and I have the headphones, which I don't actually use for my actual stream. But if we're doing,
Not
if I'm
really,
on,
but-
say if I'm on, like, did Country Fest with Cam Gime, if you're on
Yeah.
a show like this where everybody's going in and playing a song, or then you have to, or even just talking like this, you have to have headphones.
You do.
So, but as we said, you can get $11 headphones. You can use your earbuds that any
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
That you just have to have something so it's not coming out of your computer. So
Yeah.
I did a breakdown of what is okay, here it is. If you were going to go for your barest bone, let's pretend those were words. Bare-bonedest, okay.
Bare bonedest.
If you're going for your most simplistic setup, then I
Yes.
think that is still top-notch stuff. So you're not
Yeah.
buying crap, and it's all new. So if
Yeah.
you went and bought the UMC 202, which I have the 204, so that would be $10 more. That's 69 bucks.
All right.
That
All right.
TM80 that you're using right now, 69
Yep.
bucks. You
Yep.
get the cheapest headphones on Sweetwater, $11. You get the cheapest boom mic stand, boom, as Hippie says, $19. You have a
Yep.
guitar cable. That's $8 is for the cheapest guitar cable I found. That's $176.
Wow.
So that's not, it's not free, but it's fairly affordable for most people and
It is.
Sweetwater does payments. So
Yeah, okay.
I think this show has said we would like to be sponsored by Behringer and by Sweetwater. Thank you.
Definitely. And Stagg cymbals and
Stagg
Yeti
cymbals
cups.
and Yeti cups. And let's see if there's anything else on it. If
The Yeti cup.
Sure, we also love
Keeps coffee warm all day.
I forgot where mine
You know?
was.
Get yourself a Yeti cup. You know?
Yay,
you'll
Yeti.
never look back.
No, it does keep your coffee hot forever.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
And then also, so right now we have, we're going to talk about this more next week, but we are streaming through OBS.
Yes, we are.
And Pole Vault, we will see you over at the weekend warm-up in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
We're streaming through OBS, but we are talking to each other through StreamYard.
StreamYard,
And
yes.
so I'm putting the StreamYard feed into OBS, and
Yep.
we are coming out. And how is that working? I don't know, actually, but hopefully it's fine. But it's so StreamYard, we're using the free account on StreamYard.
Yeah, so I've set up a stream on StreamYard. You've got the link. You've joined the stream, and then you're getting my visual off and putting it into OBS, and then streaming back onto my channel through OBS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can blend sound as well on that.
Yeah, so my sound is coming directly through. He can hear me through StreamYard, but you can hear me through OBS,
Yep.
audience people, and you're hearing him directly from StreamYard. So this, it's probably not the smoothest way to do this, but it's
It works.
it works. Yeah, and it's we took off the duck. Don't tell them.
We removed it.
The duck sucks.
No
So,
ducks.
but StreamYard is what most people are using for their streams. And somebody who's fancy like Pole Vault or like Camp Gmail, they have real StreamYard accounts that they pay for, and that
They
are
do.
so they are fancy. They could just remove the duck, but
And they get a better bandwidth as well.
they
can
get
go out
better.
in
And they can
1080.
have more than two. Like we can only have two people, I think. I don't know.
Yes, we can.
So you can have more friends, and
Yeah.
so one thing I was going to suggest was if you have these things, like you got your Behringer and you got your headphones and you got your mic and you got just sign up for the free StreamYard account and go to StreamYard.com and
Yes.
do a test recording
Yes.
of what you sound like.
Well, I did that. I used that exact same thing tonight to get this rough setup
Yeah.
so that we could do this stream. And I used StreamYard to do that. Just set up a recording, did it, had a listen to it, went back, made some changes. I think I did it 4 times, and by that, the audio was right. So it was worth it just for that, just to do a test.
Justine is sending this to Yeti for us. Please do.
Excellent. Yeah, and stag symbols.
And stag symbols. Yeah, that's the big one. Yeah, Seagull is really holding their tongue, and I appreciate it because we aren't making it easy for you. I do see this.
He Urban says, "Oh, you could just never watch your own streams and don't even worry about how you sound." There is that.
Well, for me, by myself, when I'm streaming, I do the test. OBS has a little recording thing, so I'm just using OBS on Friday Song Club, and I do
Yeah.
a little test recording every once in a while, make sure that my sound is working and it makes sense, and I'm not doing something stupid. But
Yeah.
so that's OBS is a free thing for streaming that you can use to stream to YouTube for free. And we're going to talk about this more next week. Like, how do you set up the stream and to the OBS stream, and what is that like, and what's your basic stream? Because OBS can do you could be like a whole TV show. Like you could be a real do the news through OBS. It could be fancy. Or
Yeah,
you could be the Friday Song Club, where I have my first stream. I have a scene where it's just like the picture of me, and I'm Friday Song, and I'm like Friday Song Club, and I start with that so that you don't start and end with me. Even though today I did that because my power went out. Shh, don't tell. And then I have a scene for Friday Song Club where it's like I got my picture and I have all my little things, my emojis, my little chat thing at the bottom. I have my little logo on the one side, and that's all done through OBS in different stages, and so are different sources.
Yeah, your OBS setup is much more complicated than mine in terms of visuals on screen and stuff. I don't do that because I've got 4 cameras running and I'm playing drums. I don't really think I need on-screen emojis, but yours works really well, doesn't it?
I don't think people would show up if I didn't have the emojis. I think that's half the fun for mine is people like to slap me with their little hands. And sometimes they get a whole thing of knives. And I'm like, Jade, what is this? And she's just throwing knives at me. But that's okay.
Yeah.
So, David says emojis matter.
Yeah, emojis do matter.
So I think for streaming, OBS is like amazing, and you can just do so much stuff. But you can also keep it really simple, and not. It doesn't have to be overdone, and it's still a really nice service because it takes you. You can sign into YouTube, and it connects really quickly and easily, and there's no problem.
Yeah, it's really simple to set up, and really, once you've just got your head around a couple of things, how it works, it's easy.
It is.
It really is easy.
And next week we'll go a little more in depth or in depth at all. We're not going to really do that today. What OBS looks like, how we have it set up, what settings are important, not important, and so that you could just stream by yourself on OBS, or like, we're doing this too. You can do anything on OBS. It's just making you have like a TV channel, and a lot of these things you can just do through YouTube as well. You can't stream through YouTube on its own. You can't do it in. Can you do it through YouTube Studio on its own? Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Can you do it off a desktop? Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not good enough, is it?
Well, so if I'm streaming, at
Sorry
a show,
about that, YouTube.
No, YouTube sucks.
I do love you.
If I'm streaming at a show and I'm on my phone, I'm just going through that YouTube app.
Okay.
And so a lot of people I know just, will, because phones and the audio on the phones are so good at this point. If you have your phone, you can put it up on a little tripod or something. You can record your song and upload it to YouTube. It sounds great. It's not that, and if I get my phone in the right place to my speaker, it sounds fine. It's not as, it's not hi-fi, stereo, anything, but it's fine. So it's, and that's just, but there's limitations. So OBS lets me have the little chat, I can pop up the chat. It can run automatically if I trusted you guys, but I don't. I choose the ones that go up. It has the little emojis that float around. I have mine on top, but Mr. Smith wouldn't let me, so they're behind us, but you can still see them. The little the titles we have, Smith and Valerie Sound Session and CBD Staff, and the background is all layers in OBS.
David, you said when you're on week 52 of trying to get a setup to stream, I remember how Mr. Smith said it was easy. Honestly, David, if Valerie hooks us up together...
Yeah, we've already talked about it.
I took Hugh through streaming as well, getting if you want, or if Valerie doesn't do it, I can do it quite happily. We can have you set up in a few hours, man. Honestly, really easy. We'll do it through StreamYards itself, and I can walk you through the whole thing. Literally, I can tell you which hole to put the wire in, and that's how we did it with Hugh. I mean, even when I did it with Hugh, we took pictures of his mixing desk, and I had a picture of his mixing desk so I could see exactly what was going on and how I could route things, and it was actually really simple, and it's enabled Hugh to go streaming, basically. So honestly, buddy, don't worry, we can have it sorted for you, no problem.
Yeah, I think we can, and he bought the Behringer mixer, and
excellent.
He's got everything. He's already bought it all, so it should be really quick to get set up, and especially just wanting to join something like Camp Gmail or something. I think it would take half an hour from like us starting talking to like him actually. Doing it. It would not take any, and that's also including like look at the dogs and
certainly in StreamYards it'd be that fast.
It'd be super fast.
Yeah. It would.
And I think David's a great example of somebody who's been putting out little videos, playing a little bit more, and then taking this next step to streaming on their own, or to even this setup where I'm talking about for streaming. Also a great setup for your basic recording, to have the interface, to have the cords, to have the mic and the headphones. Now, if you have a PC, you could use Cakewalk, or if you have a Mac, you can use just GarageBand. They're free.
Correct.
And then
any of them.
Yeah, and so this same setup would work great for recording. Or that you record your cell phone video while you record the song. Now you have a music video.
Dun, dun, dun.
You've done it.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And you can even put that into some editing software, put some effects on it, and you really do have a music video.
Right. So David says just a 30-minute stream once in a blue moon. No shows really. He's going to be on Gmail. We know this because he went on
we've
Country
got to be-
Fest and he was
you've got to
awesome.
be on
Everybody
Gmail.
loved him. So
Yeah, and
it's pretty fun.
I think, wasn't it, where did I see? I can't remember who played you did a live track, and it was a sort of almost spoken word thing.
Was it Pole Vault played it, I think?
Oh, was it Pole Vault? Yeah, that
Yeah, 'cause
honestly,
I was watching that
David,
too.
that blew me away, that track. So if you're going to be streaming stuff like that, I will be there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think
I'll
a
be
lot of
there, and
people will.
Yeah, and if you need any help setting it up, just give me a shout. I'll set you up, no problem. Just so that I can be there to see it, basically. You know.
Yeah. And there's so many people who can get this, set up so easily, and there's really some people I've heard this thing where I'd like to stream, but I don't know when I could stream that wouldn't be on top of someone else's stream.
I don't think that anybody should consider anything like that at all, and I think you should stream when it is best for you.
Yeah.
And YouTube is big enough for everybody, and we're all grown-ass adults here. So if you want to stream, and it's when a million other people are streaming, you do it. You do what's good for you, and
I completely agree with this. And
I
'cause
would
it's
I would
true.
really say with the whole YouTube and the whole music thing, I would say, really do it for yourself. Do it because you enjoy it, and do it just because you want to. If it garners an audience, that's just a bonus, but do it for yourself.
Yeah, and don't discount that. You could do a stream, and maybe there are only 2 to 5 people there, but hundreds of people could watch the replay.
Correct.
So you just don't know. And David, Live to Fly, knows this more than pretty much everybody here because he was with me when there were 2 people watching me, David and one other person. And that was the only people coming to my Friday Zone Club. And it was, but it just takes some time to garner enough audience to where people, come back. But I think we do have it's really hard to not have this feeling of like, I don't want to stream over other people, but it's just impossible.
Well,
Especially if you look at the YouTube who's streaming at one time.
Well, to be honest,
there's 500 people streaming at one time. You just don't know them. They're just not your friends.
Even just that statement is coming from a sort of it's a nicely humble perspective. But to think that we're streaming over somebody, I just think we are streaming. That is it.
Right.
That's it.
And people may not, it may mean that people go to one streamer and then to another, but it's
flit about.
It's fine. And it's not and there's so many people watching who aren't in the chat too. So it's
and there's different audiences as well.
There are. And now there's you stream vertically, you get a whole different group of people than if you stream this way, which I way prefer this way, I'm just going to say. So,
well, you get a whole lot of people, but they won't interact with your channel or subscribe or anything.
That's what
It's
I've
pointless.
found. Coldacre says, I really like Prism. It's very similar to OBS, but it captures your audio lossless. And it's really good for filming music. I have not heard of this either, and I want to check that out.
I'll have a look at that.
Prism.
Yeah,
my Mike Shaner is here. And he says, I can lurk multiple shows at a time, and it's kind of cool to have shows overlapping. It gives you a choice of what you want to watch. I do that too.
Yeah, I do it all the time. It's only the same as having 800 channels on the TV. What's the difference?
Right. So David says you liked The Hole by Townes Van Zandt, Spoken Tale. That was really good.
Got you. Right, thanks. Yeah, really impressed with that.
So David says all the terms OBS Cakewalk are all foreign to him. So I think this is next week. Definitely come out next week for that.
So just a second though. Sorry, Valerie.
Oh, yes, please.
Is that Townes Van Zandt? Is that Stevie Van Zandt's offspring?
Stevie Van Zandt. You mean, no,
his name, is it not Steve? What's his name?
Are you you mean Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah.
Those are 2 that I didn't know that. So let's see if I didn't know those 2 were related.
That's what I'm asking, are they?
That I didn't know, but I'm going to see. I was not. I'd never thought of those two people being related because I thought no. So
Is Van Zandt a popular name?
It's not I mean, it's not that popular, no. But okay. So Townsend's, so they're about the same age. That makes more sense.
Okay, right. Interesting.
I was just saying, like, are they related in any way?
David says no, apparently not.
Yeah, I had not thought they were. Towns did not have any children. Oh, no,
Right.
that's not, hold on, is this true? Oh, from his first wife.
And Gary Hobbs despises vertical streaming, and I love that.
Oh, and I still have that up. Yeah, because I was going to say, I agree with you, Gary. I keep trying it because I keep thinking, well, YouTube keeps selling it to me. And they're like, don't you want a vertical stream? Vertical streaming is what all the cool kids do. Don't you want to be cool? And I'm like, yeah, I should be cool. I'll try it. And then I try it, and I hate it, and I'm mad.
Yeah.
So a whole Wikipedia page about how much heroin somebody does. Come on. Let's go. So, yeah, Towns, they're not related in any way. But they're both amazing musicians.
Right. I've not heard of Towns.
Oh. Sometimes I play If I Needed You, and I haven't done it in forever.
Right.
I should do that. I lost you. Okay. So, okay. David knows. They're not related. Okay, but I did have to
Am I back?
Wikipedia that.
Yeah, I'm
You're
back.
back.
There you go.
So the one thing that bothers me about vertical is it puts you in a scroll that makes it easy for the viewer to leave as it is to come in. It's built for a transient audience. I don't want a transient audience.
Exactly.
And I totally agree. And I found so far the live videos I've done vertically have the most views of all, and I don't know watch time, but they have the most views of all my videos. So they come up to the top and they look like, oh, don't you want to do that? There's so many views. But those views do not translate to people like coming back or people watching my horizontal streams or coming to Friday Song Club or commenting or even like chatting necessarily. And it's more like Instagram or Facebook, says Justine. Totally agree with that. And maybe like TikTok, which I've never used because I'm old and I don't think they'd let me on there. But okay.
I mean, it's not for me as well, especially because of the drum kit. Just the kit needs a landscape view for me to fit it in.
Right. I think that's the other thing is like for me singing by myself, like vertical, you can see all of me and most of my guitar. And and if you do horizontal, it's usually like you see this half, and I have to put it far away so I can't read my read my chat. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like it. I say let's not fall for this anymore.
No, I'm not doing it.
Because it is views heavy, but it's not, as Gary said, it's low watch hours, and I think that's really true.
I tried shorts for a month.
You did.
And I put 60 shorts out, and it just wasn't worth the effort.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like some people put up a short of like something so boring and like nothing's happening and it's like a rock and you'll get 1 billion views, and you put up videos of like awesome songs where you're playing drums and you know and it's moving and there's stuff happening and you get 100 views.
29.
And well, then you got some good views besides that. But it's I don't understand why some shorts get pushed by YouTube and others do not.
No, it's strange.
So
definitely.
I have not, like Pole Vault seems to have figured out shorts and has tried to tell me all of his secrets to his shorts. And I know Pole Vault short secrets, and they don't work for me. None of them
Hold on. That sounded really dodgy. I know the secret of Pole Vault shorts. I mean, steady on.
Steady on. Sunshine will hear me.
Exactly. What?
Yeah. So... Yeah, shorts are for your juggling cats. Yeah, there is some brain rot because I like how your eyes are side by side and not stacked. This is Gary. So yeah, Coldacre also likes that I know Pole Vault short secrets, but I do. Like he told me all the things that he and Sunshine do because they both have like crazy shorts numbers, and they get a lot of subscribers from their shorts. and they get a lot of view hours and stuff. And mine do not. Doesn't and the stupidest the ones that have mine that do the most are like just nothing. Like I'll do something stupid that gets a ton. Me trying really hard and like, here's my best thing I ever made. This is great, and then it gets like 5 views, and I'm like, what happened?
Yep.
So yeah, Axe and Nacho are really good at short. Axe and Nacho are just funny.
Well, Nacho's particularly good.
Nacho.
She's particularly good.
She does the best faces.
I know, she's great, isn't she?
She's really good. So they're definitely like that, and that's like I'm not so creative and funny like as that, and they've had practice because I think they did TikTok before they did shorts.
Right. Okay.
So they're well versed to know what they're doing, and it comes off really well. And I think it gets them. They also have a ton more subscribers than I do, and as we know, I've been doing this for a long ass time, and I have one of the lower subscriber counts of anybody who's been doing this a long ass time. So I am not the person to ask for advice about how to get your numbers up, because I don't have that part figured out at all.
I have stopped looking at subscribers. I made it to the point where I could be monetized,
and
I've stopped looking.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I think it's more, I want people who show up repeatedly. And I want to have good numbers at my chat, and good numbers of like people showing up, and good hours after my show. Those things matter to me a lot more than the actual number of how many subscribers. Even though it's fun, because the non-mouse is always like, do it. So, but it in the grand scheme of things, it does not mean that much compared to interaction and engagement.
That's the bit for me. I would rather see more people at the live stream than subscribed and not interacting.
Yeah.
Because of one thing they saw that they liked and they hit subscribe pointlessly.
Yeah. Well, and even that, like, if we're doing a stream like this, or, it depends on what we're doing. Like, if I'm doing a stream and I'm playing guitar and I'm singing songs, I want people that want to hear me play a little guitar and sing folk songs.
Of course.
And, if that's not the thing you want to do, and, I want you to be at the place that brings you the most joy, no matter what, if that's a political stream or a ghost hunter stream or, whatever, watching fast cars, whatever it is you're doing, that, be at the place. And so, like, for this, it's really nice to have a chat where people are engaged in the topic and asking questions about the thing you're talking about. Sometimes I've had streams where no one's interacting with me and they're all interacting with each other.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that while I've been drumming. There's been some crazy conversations while I've been drumming.
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes it's not necessarily about what you're doing, and that's a little... It's a little weird, but it's, but it is, so you just want to have, a good group for whatever you're doing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a ton of people. It's just like the... how quality it is.
That in itself, with a chat that can... So they turn up to see you and to watch your stream, but they're so comfortable being there that they will stay there and just have a talk amongst themselves. And you're kind of... It's a bit like when you're playing at a bar. Right. They'll be talking to each other at the tables and stuff.
Right. Well, I think that's... I don't think that part's bad. Like, it's the... Sometimes, like...
That's what I mean. It's a good thing, I think.
No, sometimes, like, people are... This is not just never happened to me as much. Sometimes people are talking on the stream, and the people talking in the chat aren't talking about the same thing the people in the chat are talking about. Not really music ones as much as, like, talky ones. Yeah. And so sometimes there seems like, you're having a party, and you're like, hold on, I'm doing a thing.
You mean you saw some kind of disparity between the two?
Yeah. So I just want to, I like when...
Hey, Charlie.
It feels like we're all hanging out. Charlie.
Good to see you. Nice stream before as well, buddy.
I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah, I left you. I was in the chat for a while listening, and I just left you on while I was doing some more setting up. It's really good. You've got your sat. Now, Charlie's a great example of somebody. Really good example of somebody who's really got his stuff together with just a vocal mic and a guitar. Sounds great. Consistently does good streams. Got a really good audience in his chat. People are really lovely. And people come and go, because Charlie has been known to stream for 3.5 hours, 4 hours at a time. He does. He does get into it. And it's lovely to have a place like Charlie's to hang out as well, because he's always bringing songs that I've not heard before as well.
And he really takes a lot of requests too.
He does.
So I feel like that's good.
Covers a lot of ground. Just a genuinely nice guy. So yeah, Charlie's a great person to look at for somebody who's got it together for streaming with essentially a really simple setup as well.
Oh, I thought I shared. Okay, I'm trying to copy a link. Oh, here we go. Pro streamer. Okay.
Hashtag pro streamer.
Streams that are like an open house are lots of fun. And it's, so like, you were there at Jade's yesterday. Jade did an interview with Rachel's Ghost.
Yeah, with Rachel's Ghost.
The stream was lit. Like the chat there was like 60 people in the chat because Rachel's Ghost has such a huge community, and they all came over to watch. And it was fun because it was just like new peeps that I'm like, who are you people? You're awesome.
Yeah, and it was a different style of chat because it's a little bit more hectic in Rachel's Ghosts chat.
They were a lot. So
yes, so it was just interesting, wasn't it? Yeah, it was interesting to see this
there was drama. It was exciting. Like sometimes, I mean, we have a little bit of drama.
People
but
were
not
deleted.
as much.
People were deleted. Comments were removed. People were timed out. I was on top of that as well at one point.
Gary says usually Jade's chat, everybody's green and everybody's a member, and you could see how many people came over because there's so few green people.
Exactly.
And so many new, like just regular. Are you just white? When you're it was a hoot. Okay, so we have 1 minute till it's time now to go over and see pole vault.
Seriously?
At the weekend warm up. Did you know? If you're not watching the time?
No. Should I have been watching the time?
Well, you don't have to because that's what you have me for.
Is that 2 hours? Oh, he's
that
just
was 2 hours.
I can talk to you for a day and not even know it's passed. Honestly, it's
You're so
good.
Sweet. So if you have further questions about what do you need for your setup? What about this thing? Do I need this thing or that thing? Come back and leave it in the comments. That's a word. Leave it in the comments and ask, and Mr. Smith will check, and we do highly recommend.
We would highly recommend this. This is the 204 bundle from Sweetwater with a Behringer B1 microphone, a Behringer J1100 headphones, I think they are, microphone cable, microphone stand, and that will get you ready to be just like us. #pro streamer.
This is pretty much exactly what I have. A little bit different brands, but pretty much exactly what I'm doing. If you just have an acoustic guitar and you're playing, you are set.
Yes.
You can get it a little bit cheaper if you put it down. I'll put that in the comments later, like our different options and stuff. We'll put those links up.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So you know exactly what we're talking about.
Is pole vault going live next? Is it?
It's right now. Yeah.
Oh, it's right now. It's happening.
It's happening right now. So here's the link. I've just set it into the chat.
Oh, you've done it. Brilliant.
And Edward says we're interesting. That's good. And David says I have no boom for mic. Sad Panda now. Well, you don't necessarily need a boom for a mic. It's it could
don't
just
panic
be
just yet.
If you have one that's sitting on your desk and you're at a good room, and that's right here next to your mouth, and it doesn't need to be that close. Again, I am this far away from this. It just looks closer because I'm behind it, but I'm like this far away from this mic right now. So it doesn't have to be super close to you. So,
and don't forget, David, as well, you can always make subtle... Once you've got started, you can always make subtle changes. The key is getting going.
Yeah, this is really true. Let's just start where we're at and see how it sounds, and then if later on you need to upgrade, you can. But I bet you have everything you need right now. So next week we'll be back with talking more about how to use StreamYard, how to use OBS. Simple things about how to get started with setting up your recordings. And
maybe a little bit of what you could do in your background, the possibilities. I know.
I hadn't even thought about that. I didn't even know we were going to talk about that.
Did you practice that pose then when you did that?
No, that's natural.
Did you rehearse that?
It was a natural thing I did.
Wow. You should have been on TV. That was unbelievable.
This is like TV. So we will see you next week for that. And again, if you have any questions at all about this part set up, please leave them in the comments because we would love to hear about them.
And we will answer you.
Well,
comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. comment, subscribe. All right, we'll see you over at Pole Vaults. It's already started. Goodbye.
Love you all. Deal with it.
Bye.